if I could get a job at VShojo. No, who knows? I don't know. Depends on what you do. VShojo ain't looking to hire a bunch of people right now. We actually got a couple new people over the past however long to do some things, and it's good. It's good, and they're cooking. But for the most part, it's not about hiring in full-time people to like have a job at VShojo. It's about like contracting out people for specific projects usually. So companies like that, it's usually a smaller group of people that actually work there versus some people that just have a skill that we'll need to, you know, tap occasionally. Yeah, no, because I'll be honest, the company doesn't take much from us, so it's not like they're gonna print money and you know, like hire 5,000 people. It doesn't quite operate like that. Like helping with the cons. I mean, most of the staff that will help with cons will be people that properly just work for the company, and they'll just stop doing whatever their main job is for a weekend and go do that instead and help out. Sometimes for free, you know, sometimes it's just like they just go there. They just go there and they don't really get paid sometimes for it if they're just there because they want to go to the event and they want to help out. Sometimes it is that person's actual job to be there. It just depends on what their role is. But people that are just managers that like aren't expected to go to cons, they'll still go and help out and stuff. Like the team just kind of comes together, you know. Oscar, yeah, like Oscar isn't one of our employees. Oscar works for Senpai Squad, but because we're tight with them, you know, you'll see him a lot and he'll be around. And if we had a booth and we said, we don't really have enough people to run it, who should we get? People like Oscar would be like, what times do you need it covered? Maybe I can, you know, it's just a lot of friends helping out friends and stuff. He's been so cool every time I've been in the booths. Yeah, Oscar's great. I mean, that's what a lot of this industry is like. You just have to do things with other people, meet people, find a good person. How can I work with them? You'd like to learn how to be a manager for a streamer? Why is my question. I will say, how do I say this? Not a career to try and go into, because most streamers will never be able to pay you enough for that to work out. The people that make enough money to hire like an individualized manager without being part of some sort of company are incredibly few and far between, and they already have people. And then the ones that can't, they go to some sort of group or company or something. And then when you're in those, there are a lot of people already vying for those types of jobs, so it's very hard to do. Some people, they have like a mod who is very active and handles community management well, things like that, and they start just kind of tasking them with stuff and going, hey, if you want to help more, I could pay for you for some time and I need this and that done. And they just figure it out. And that's how a lot of people learn to do that stuff, is straight up just figuring it out. But yeah, being a PM, not PM, a PA, or basically look up how to be a virtual assistant. And that's what they usually need, right? But a lot of people will hire a friend to do that, or yeah, like a head mod or something. Because a lot of the stuff that they need manager to help with, someone who's very ingrained in the community is usually best to do. And then a lot of the jobs that managers will do, it's still stuff that has to come from the creator themselves. They need to be involved. There's just some measure of work that you cannot hand off. It's a lot for streamers. So they just need someone who knows what's going on with them and understands their community, understands what their tastes, what they would want, and it just becomes a second set of hands. And just contacts them frequently. Hey, do you want this? Hey, do you want that? Hey, I did this. Okay, while you're streaming, I took care of this, and that. And it's just for the most part, they just need a second person. A second person to be on their with them. Like streaming, not yourself, and you think there's overlap with social work background? With social work background? Maybe on community management, yes. I would say more the community management role, more than managing the streamer themselves. Also, a lot of big streamers, they just don't have management. They're people who have quote-unquote managers, but it's really someone who just acts as an agent, and they still do all their stuff themselves. If they're a really good creator, a lot of the time, they're doing most of their stuff themselves, and their management is helping, but they're not really telling them what to do or strategizing for them or anything like that. They're just like, I need someone to check my email. The time-consuming stuff that they pass off. But yeah. Did you ever dabble in managing someone or just modding? No, I just modding. I never managed any like streamers or anything like that. I was never in that industry before streaming myself because I had a job already. But I did mod for some big communities, so I was very involved in that sort of thing. So I think that helped me when I started out, kind of understand what I wanted and understand some of the really annoying parts of it, things that sometimes you have to learn the hard way. I kind of already experienced in another community as a mod, so I was able to, you know, foresee some things and be like, ooh, I should do this way, not do that way. And that helped a little. I think modding is a good place to start to understand that stuff, to be a mod for a streamer, and then from there decide if you like that at all. Do I want to go deeper? Do I not want to go deeper? Some people, they enjoy it, but then as they do it more, they're like, wow, I'm just babysitting the worst people in the chat, and I'm just like a cleanup crew sometimes. You know, depending on the streamer you're modding for, sometimes no problem. Not really a bad community that gets crazy, so you don't have to deal with it. And then some communities, they could be tiny, but you're just keeping crazy people away from the streamer all the time. you know, and you have to like be a bad guy constantly. So I don't know. Some people enjoy that work. Some people really don't. You were a mod for a small community for a few years, didn't have to do much, and you still hated it. Yeah. I liked being active in a community. I've always liked community-oriented anything. Part of why I like streaming in the first place. I just like building and being in communities. That's it, literally it. So I enjoyed that part of it. There were a lot of weird people that I had to deal with, keeping them away from the streamer a bit, keeping them from someone would bitch out over something that was just so weird in the Discord or in the chat or in the whatever. You become desensitized to it after a while, but it's a lot of annoyance. Rather babysit chatters than your clients at your actual job. True. I wish I could have a more robust auto mod to just handle some for the mods. We kind of, not auto mod, automated responses. So when someone's being a weirdo, you know, I mean, we could just copy paste certain messages, but I would love a little flow chart so the mods don't have to think. And it says, is this person talking about this? Is this what they're complaining about? Yes. Okay, go to here in the flow chart. No. Okay, go to here. You know, and at the end, when they do their flow chart, they get a response that they should copy paste to that person to warn them and to tell them like, hey, stop it. Be great. Warning thing has been a super nice tool for that. Oh, I love the new warning thing. So nowadays, when you moderate somebody, you can add this warning, or you can just give them a warning, and it gives that person a message that says, you've been warned about this. So then you can explain to that person what they did wrong in a non-public setting, just they see it. That's great. Before this, you just time people out and they wouldn't know why they're timed out half the time, especially if the chat's going faster, or maybe they really don't get the vibe, there's something they're not picking up on. So they would just see that they're timed out, and then the next thing they'd say when they were untimed out is go, why did I get timed out? Like nothing, it doesn't really help that much. Or a mod has to answer them and be like, you were timed out because, and it just shits up the chat, right? So I really like that they added the warning thing. I feel like that was so long overdue. My favorite goddamn thing is when I warn someone, they acknowledge, and then they go, that warning, so then it's a ban. Yeah, and then it's so swift, right? You don't have to worry about it. You just pick them up and throw them. I like when it's that simple. I think the most draining thing is when someone's not being that bad, but they're not getting something. So you have to keep telling them what's wrong. You know they could be saved. So you're trying, and you just have to talk for so long to somebody about what they shouldn't be doing. I would love to eliminate that. I would love to just not spend time on that, especially when it's hard to describe. And there are some that aren't even that bad. Like there's one person who was here yesterday that they just type sips coffee at the end of every message. Every single message they say, they'll be like, ah, yes, I see. Sips coffee. What is that? You're in a Twitch chat. They're not even doing anything wrong. So I don't want to just like ban them for that, but they do it every time. Like, what is that about? They're doing something wrong. Technically they're role playing, and I tell people not to role play too hard in the chat, but they're not role playing hard. They're not like, oh, I am the warrior of the whatever. They're just like, yeah, I'm sipping coffee.
That's so weird. Sips pee.
You got a point.